Let me ask you something real. What else do they want? After the slander, after the spell work, after the smear campaigns wrapped in scripture, after calling you crazy for feeling what was never spoken, after praying against your purpose in pews built on performance, after exiling you, mocking you, and standing shoulder to shoulder with the people who laid hands on you, not to heal, but to harm. What else do they want? What else is there to take? You lost your peace. You lost your name. You almost lost your life. And they're still watching, still whispering, still lining up their group chats in dirty intentions like daggers. What else do you want? What else do they want? Still trying to figure out how to bury your future just because you didn't stay in the seat they assigned you. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Empowered Shadows. I'm your host, Shayla, and this episode is for the ones who were thrown to the wolves and then blamed for how they howled. This is for the black sheep turned phoenix, the spiritually exiled, the ones with siblings who smile in family photos while sitting next to the people who traumatized you, still trying to ruin your name in silence. This is for the ones with the in-laws who never embrace you, for the cousins, the uncles, the aunties who believed the lies because it was easier than facing the truth. This is for the ones who were raised in spiritual groupthink and shunned for refusing to worship an ignorant shepherd. This is for the ones who escaped abusive marriages, only to be shamed by their spouse's codependent mother. This is for the ones who ran back to the breasts of their own mother, seeking safety, only to be shunned, mocked, or threatened for not playing the role of the obedient, broken woman. This is for those outcasts for having the audacity to leave abuse, for being body shamed for gaining weight in grief, body shamed again for losing it in healing, shamed for doing what you said you would do because your follow-through exposes their excuses. It's not jealousy. It's a campaign. This is deeper than jealousy. This is a coordinated effort to erase you spiritually. They want your confidence crumbled, your voice cracked, your path detoured, your relationships destroyed before they can even take root. They want you second-guessing your purpose, disbelieving your own intuition, mistrusting every good thing that comes near you. Because if you keep growing, if you keep glowing, if you keep choosing yourself, it exposes the lie they all agreed to tell. And the most insidious part, it wasn't always direct. Sometimes it came wrapped in tradition, in obedience, in bloodlines, in church pews, and childhood codes of silence. Indoctrined into betrayal. You weren't just hurt. You were programmed to betray yourself. Raised to believe loyalty meant silence. Taught that love meant sacrifice, especially your own. Conditioned to suppress your truth if it made others uncomfortable. You were handed shame disguised as faith, guilt dressed up as humility, and trauma wrapped in the language of family. You were punished for not doing harm, but for doing what was best for you. So when you started to unlearn it all, unlearn all of it, to walk away from the performance, to prioritize your sanity, to call abuse what it was, they didn't see this as healing. They saw it as betrayal. And that, to them, was unforgivable. Unforgivable. Because now, every breath you take in alignment makes their dysfunction louder. Every boundary you build calls out their complicity. Every truth you speak undoes their collective denial. How dare you? That's why this is deeper than offense. It's exposure. And they would do anything to make sure you never rise high enough to be heard. The silence was its own curse. There's a cruelty in silence. Not the sacred kind, but the calculated kind. The kind where people know you're drowning, but look away and call it grace. The kind where they whisper prayers around your name, but never once reach for your hand. Let's speak on the ones who watched you fall, who heard the screaming behind your smiles, who nodded along to your abuser's stories, and still brought them to family gatherings. They didn't throw the punch, but they held the door open. They didn't write the lie, but they passed the note. And now they cloak themselves in neutrality as if heaven doesn't recognize cowardice. But make no mistake, their silence was not peacekeeping. It was permission. Divine interruption saved you. Let's be clear. You didn't survive because you were lucky. You survived because Spirit intervened. When they were casting word curses, you were being shielded by unseen hands. When you were crying on bathroom floors, your ancestors were already clearing your path. They thought your isolation would destroy you, but it delivered you. Delivered you from spiritual illusions, delivered you from codependent love, delivered you from their need to keep you small, silent, and sick. If not for the divine whisper that said, "This is not your ending," you would have stayed where they buried you. They didn't expect you to hear God clearer. Once they pushed you in the dark, they did not expect for you to hear God clearer. But that's the thing about shadows. They always reveal what light was too bright to show you. Their end goal was your erasure. They didn't just want to silence you. They wanted you erased. Not just forgotten, but discredited, deleted, rewritten. They wanted your name off lips, your truth off timelines, your growth to be so sabotaged, so badly you question if it ever existed. Because you were never meant to survive their rituals, their campaign, their attack on your life, future. Your healing wasn't part of the script. No. Your clarity disrupted their control. And so they stopped your progress, mocked your glow, sent shade and silence in place of support. Not because you hurt them, no, but because your healing reminded them that they're still broken. Your healing reminded them that they are broken. Your healing reminded them that they are broken and make no attempts to repair. Let that sink in. Your very joy is a judgment. Your peace is a prophecy. Your rise is their reckoning. So when you ask, what else do they want? What do they want? What do you want? You're not asking in confusion. You're asking in revelation. Because the answer is already written. They want your disappearance. Because your presence is a mirror and they can't stand what it reflects. Here's what they forgot. You already died. And the version of you they buried, she left a map and ashes. You came back stronger, sharper, sanctified. You carry your name in your own mouth now. You bless your own body. You defend your own soul. They tried to curse you and called it intercession. They tried to shame you and called it community. They tried to silence you, and now they're choking on your echo. You are not theirs to define. Not anymore. Not ever again. This is Empowered Shadows, a sanctuary for the ones who were sacrificed in silence and still rose, still healed, and still refused to bow. Let them talk. Let them circle. Let them seethe. Let them suffer in the energy they tried to bury you with. You were never theirs to destroy. And your survival is a curse breaker. Thank you for listening.